Let's talk about exercise and physical activity in your weight loss journey. So there's a difference between being physically active throughout your day and exercise on a regular basis. First of all, let's define each one. So exercise is more of a structured or planned type of physical activity. Physical activity is just any movement of your body that requires you to use energy. Both, of course, are very equally important, and as a weight loss surgery patient, you can ensure success by incorporating both types of exercises. So what are some of the benefits of exercise? Well, it increases your muscle and bone strength, it increases your lean muscle and decreases body fat, aids in weight maintenance, specifically, even more so than weight loss, and it improves your psychological well-being. It can reduce symptoms of depression, anxiety, as well as improve mood. Oftentimes, the endorphins that you get from exercise help with that. So, what is exercise? Well, it's all relative, meaning that it's really dependent on the person. One person might see an exercise as something that's great, and another might see that as that's impossible for me to do. Exercise is very individual, meaning you really need to find that exercise that's good for you and what you think that you can incorporate into your everyday life. Remember, it's important to do things that you enjoy because it's more likely that you'll be able to stick with that type of exercise long term rather than in a short term way. Exercise also can have different goals. Everybody has a different goal in mind. Some people, it might be they are running to try and get into a marathon or something in the future. Others may be just looking to simply keep their weight at a certain level. So think about that when you're trying to set your goals for exercise because, again, exercise is very individual, not only in what you do, but also what the goals of that is. There's two different types of exercise that we talk about. One type of exercise is called aerobic or cardiovascular exercise, or quote-unquote cardio. What are some of those examples? Walking, jogging, swimming, biking, Zumba class. All these types of exercise, they all cause you to breathe harder and faster, and they also increase your heart rate. And if you do these things on a regular basis, it's more than likely going to improve your health of your lungs, your heart, and your blood vessels. Okay? It improves the fitness of your heart, increases your stamina and performance. It strengthens your heart to help you pump blood efficiently throughout your body, increases your lung capacity, and it, more importantly, helps increase your metabolism. The other type of exercise is called resistance or strength training. And examples are basically free weights or machines, exercise bands, machines that use your own body weight. These things help actually increase your lean body mass. And that muscle is very important because that muscle is where your metabolism really comes from. So building muscle improves your range of motion, it improves your metabolism, as I had said already, it increases your strength, improves your balance, it improves your mobility. Muscle is an active tissue, meaning it's always working, meaning it's always burning calories. And this is what contributes to your resting metabolic rate. Strength training adds more muscle, which means really your resting metabolic rate is going to be even higher. So that's the beauty of adding some strength training to your exercise routine because you'll build muscle, which then increases your metabolism and will help you to continue to burn calories even when you're not even exercising. Muscle can use fat for energy, but often uses sugars at first, but eventually can start using fat if you're doing the right diet changes. So, exercise is often that gift that just keeps on giving. And what do I mean by that? Well, actually, after your exercise session, your metabolism is actually higher for up to 24 hours after you finish that exercise session, meaning you're continuing to burn calories after you even stop doing the exercise. For every 3,500 calories that you're burning, you could roughly calculate it's about a pound of weight that you would expect that you could lose, okay? Some call this the afterburn of exercise. So there's three ways that exercise helps you burn calories. It's not just the exercise itself that helps you burn the calories. It's also that afterburn that I talked to you about. But also it's the increased muscle mass that you may have that has that resting metabolic rate that we talked about that continues to burn calories even after you're not even moving. Combining both Cardiovascular exercise, as well as strength training and resistance training, will help you lose weight even more effectively and efficiently. Both, of course, increase your metabolism and often can work together. So you'll see changes in the shape of your body. It can also help you stay healthy and feel better, with giving you more energy to continue your weight loss journey. The important thing to remember, though, about exercise is that exercise is not necessarily required to achieve weight loss. It certainly is important, but what you need to understand is that really your weight loss begins in the kitchen and how you change how you eat. Exercise is a very important adjunct in helping you get that calorie deficit that you need, and that calorie deficit, meaning less in and more out, will allow you to help you lose that weight. And what you really like to see, what we like to see, is exercise as an essential component for your weight maintenance. So once you get to your level of weight or goal weight that you want it to be at, using exercise to not only maintain that weight, but also your overall heart health, your lung health is important. So, how do I monitor exercise? Well, one of the best ways to actually monitor whether you're exercising adequately is your heart rate. In other words, how often is your heart pumping, your pulse, how many times is it beating in a minute? Knowing what your resting heart rate is before you start your exercise and then checking it afterward gives you an idea of how effective is your exercise. If your heart rate isn't going up at all, then more than likely the exercise is more than likely not enough necessarily to get you some of the changes that you want. Eventually, when you start your exercise routine, your heart rate certainly will go up because your body's trying to compensate for the fact that it wasn't exercising like this before, so your heart rate will go up. As your stamina and your performance continues to improve, you'll find that more and more exercise will be needed in order to get your heart rate to go up. And that's why you continually challenge your body in order to make sure that your heart rate continues to be challenged and increases to allow that exercise to be effective. Because eventually your body, just like athletes, gets trained and you're able to do more exercise. So you have to continually challenge yourself. It's really important to make sure, of course, that when you're exercising, you're not exercising so much that it becomes dangerous. Obviously, checking with your doctor to make sure your heart is able to handle whatever exercise you think you want to do is important. Simply just walking is more than enough for most people to get started, okay? But if you wanted to be specific and wanted to say, well, what should be my maximal heart rate, you can calculate it by basically taking 220, subtracting your age, let's say 40 years old, 220 minus 40, that's 180. Your heart rate should be 180 as sort of a maximal heart rate. So exercising at different levels of intensity are measured based on that maximal heart rate. So in other words, percentages of that maximal heart rate will give you how intense is your exercise routine. So beginning at a low fitness training would be, let's say, 50% of what that maximal heart rate is. Moderate exercise is at about 60 to 75% of your maximal heart rate, and really vigorous exercise is really achieved at about 75 to 90% of your maximal heart rate. As an example, elite athletes often train at greater than 90% of their maximal heart rate. So in the example I gave you of the 40-year-old with a maximal heart rate of 180, if they were to exercise at a moderate level of 65% of maximal heart rate, they should expect to see their heart rate be around 117 beats per minute. Using those guidelines, you want to maintain your heart rate at that level that you're trying to achieve for an extended period of time in order to get the best benefit from that exercise. So, as a recommendation, an active physical activity level is one in which you take about 10,000 steps per day. So often you hear people use pedometers. And what does that really roughly equal to? 2,000 steps equals roughly a mile. So that gives you a gauge of what doing a pedometer and using one for determining how well you walk to see if that's an adequate activity for you. It's easy to use, it's relatively inexpensive. The negatives of using a pedometer, unfortunately, are that it doesn't really measure your intensity or your heart rate, which you certainly can do by checking your pulse on your own. And it doesn't always calculate your steps correctly, but at least it gives you a rough guide or an idea if your exercise is adequate and your activity level is up, or if you just find that you're really just sitting around. So again, it's all about just being active and getting that exercise in so that you can increase your metabolism, get the body burning calories, and maintaining some physical activity to make sure your heart and lung health is good. Okay, so what's the bottom line with exercise? Translating all the science and things that you can read into practice, it's not easy, okay? All these recommendations are sometimes confusing. The bottom line is any exercise and physical activity that you're going to do is beneficial. But obviously, the more that you move, the better. So just do it. So what are some tips and guidelines to help you get moving? Do it in short bouts. Research shows that you could do these little short 10-minute exercise routines throughout the day. Mix it up. Make it interesting. Combinations of different exercises not only to help you exceed and meet your goals, but also keep you involved and interested in the exercise. Set yourself a schedule. Make it a scheduled event. You'll be more successful if you have something certainly written down on paper and a schedule so that you know you need to stay on track. And remember, the gym is not necessary. Even though many of companies will tell you that you need to join in order to get healthy, you don't need that expensive membership. Good pair of shoes, all you need, just start walking. Lastly, make it a family affair. It's really important to get your whole family involved. Usually when you start the journey towards a healthier you get the rest of your family involved and everyone has fun doing it.